What's up, everybody? You know who it is. It's your boy, CaRai, coming at you with another video. And yeah, man, I just wanted to kind of do really more so of a continuation vid. Looking at the video that I posted before the other day, the current state of Naruto Storm Connections, you guys have blown that video up for some reason, and I really appreciate it. I have no idea, why you guys blew it up, but you did, and I'm very thankful for that. With that being said, I wanted to kind of talk about some of the comments you guys left, and maybe just continue the discussion a little bit, because you guys said some pretty cool stuff. So starting off with Benji B95. Benji says, I legit forgot about the game. In my head, Storm 4 is the last Storm game. Smiley face, last proper Naruto game if you ask me. Hey Benji, I don't think you're alone here. Honestly, Storm 4 really grew on me. Especially that last, I want to say 2 years of Storm 4. When I really started to learn leader switch, the game became so much more fun because you kind of realize, yeah, it does suck that you have to learn this switch tech to stand a chance against a lot of the better players. But at the end of the day, the moment you start learning it, the moment you start realizing, wow, there's some really cool pressure sequences and combo scenarios that you can conjure up with just any character in general. And so it just became a lot more fun in my opinion once you became open to the idea of learning switch tech. It's interesting that in this game, really, Connections takes a lot of the stuff from Storm 4, and it just basically gives it to you on training wheels. For example, in Connections, you can just do counters and there's no repercussion, really. You kind of just have counters for free. Whereas in Storm 4, counters could only be free, counters were free behind execution. So in order for counters to be free, you had to be able to switch, or you had to be able to counter and switch immediately, which would make it safe and make it and give you a situation of where you could counter again. But for the most part, you had to have that execution down right, because if you weren't on point with your switch counters, then yeah, it really wasn't free at that point. So that's really interesting. And then the jutsus and the dashes that were done constantly in Storm Connections, well, or not in Connections, but in Storm 4, they were only possible if you learned switch tech. So, in this game, they just kind of, said, okay, we're going to make switch tech worse, but then we're also going to, add chakra buffs and things of that nature, We're going to make it so that you just regen chakra so fast to where you can just, you can do all those jutsus. And with being able to do all those jutsus, you can kind of have what you were doing in Storm 4, but for free. And so I find that really intriguing. Next comment that we got was by Feedism. And yeah, what you trying to say there, bro, with that username? All in good fun though. Anyways, Feedism posted, people always say chakra regen equals spam, but they grossly mistake it. The reason Jutsu Brain Rot wins more than it deserves to is raw damage. Why the actual flip flop would I stress learning fundamentals, wearing subs down styling used to be viable with even one support, when I could turtle with sub trap supports and the average jutsu does nearly an average combo worth of damage. Basically every cutscene jutsu, Fireball, especially Momoshiki, Jigen, and Ishiki, and that god dang Inferno Barrier Sasuke nobody talks about because lovely Sasuke favoritism all done. Easy burst damage that doesn't care about subs is what allows us to generate stuff. And I definitely see what you mean. This was a very, very good comment, Feedism. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but due to the scaling, so it's interesting because when scaling was first announced, I think everyone was on the fence of this is going to be healthy for the game, this is going to be good for the game. But it's one of those things of where you play the game with scaling and you realize how much worse the game is. Because as you mentioned, Feedism, initial burst damage from fireballs and things of that nature is just so strong. You take so much damage from these things. So much damage from these things. It's actually insane. And it adds up so fast. I've been in situations where maybe I got caught dashing, got hit by a fireball sub, maybe got hit by another fireball, and boom, like 30, 40 health gone just like that. And I'm down 2 subs. And so it's really an interesting situation of where before in the past, it used to be kind of like this, kind of like a good gauge of skill to understand how to take hits and sub to maintain advantage. And while that does still exist in some capacity in this game, it's kind of somewhat diminished quite extremely to the point of where you don't really know, like really when you sub, you're not really getting much out of it in those situations. Other than, yes, you don't have to incur the knockback or the animation, so you don't have to incur the disadvantage from that, but for the most part, man, it's rough. It's quite literally rough because you take that initial burst damage, and on top of that you lose a sub if you sub, and losing subs is just so crucial because it takes so long before they come back. And yeah, it's just a really rough thing. And then the burst damage is really annoying because of the chakra regen. Yeah, the chakra regen, just gaining chakra so easily just makes this stuff so easy to do. And I think a lot of it was because they tried to say, hey, they love Storm 4. A lot of this stuff being done in Storm 4 is by way of glitches. Let's just make it so that if we can't fix the glitches, we'll just because CC2 has this weird thing where they don't like to actually fix the underlying issue of something. They like to put band-aid fixes on these things. So what CC2 did in this game was they said, hey, we don't know how to fix a lot of these glitches caused by leader switch. So instead of fixing them, let's just make leader switch worse and then make it so that they can do a lot of the benefits of leader switch without having to switch. And they thought that that would make for a good game, but it actually didn't. It made for a really bad game, as you can tell. But all in all, great comment. And then another comment I wanted to read is by Robert Valenica 8999. You forgot to mention that subbing doesn't work. You can't frame one sub, so if there's any input delay, you can always land a jutsu on any player because it's almost impossible to sub it. And they also added to where if you do a frame one sub, you still sub. If you still sub, you take half the damage of what you sub. So cool, CC2, very cool. I definitely get what you're saying here, Robert. I mean, honestly, it's rough because there's times where I swear I subbed and it doesn't register and I get hit by it. I've lost games to this. And then there's times where, I've subbed, but because of the delay, I have incurred the initial hit damage, but I sub, but I'm down a sub. I've taken that hit damage and it just sucks. And it especially sucks if I'm already in a very defensive position. So, all in all, man, CC2 has a lot they can do. And I'm interested in seeing if you guys kind of want to keep this conversation going. Maybe this could be a recurring thing. I don't know, but if you want to comment again, feel free to do so. And maybe I'll make another continuation of this because you guys seem to like it. Anyways, I'm going to end on that note. I really appreciate, you guys. Just blowing that other video up and showing all the love and support. It really helps me out a ton. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you guys with a very dumb match. I played this match. This is like one of my first matches getting on during this rank session. I played this match and I was just like, yeah, I need to take a break. So after one match, I took a break. Anyways, I wanted to show you guys how dumb this match was. No hate towards the player. It's just the way the game is. I just think it's funny. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure. And as for me, I'm going to head out. I'm going to go ahead and do my thing, continue doing me. Anyways, CaRai out. Peace.